Our marina contract said we had to leave.
Yeah.
At the last minute, they rescinded it, said we could stay. It was a toss-up. We anchored out. Not a scratch.
Really?
Not a scratch. We stripped the boat, topsides.
Yeah.
Well, considering what could have been,
Good for you.
Hey, it was excellent.
Yeah.
It was excellent.
got to run for the news, sir. Thanks for calling. It's 3 o'clock. This
News Talk victims of Hurricane Andrew. Dial 1-800-242-2200. That number again for instructions, 1-800-242-2200. For live coverage as South Florida rebuilds, stay tuned to News Talk Radio 620 WSUN. Radio 620 WSUN. Finally, entertaining AM radio, not the same old talk. It's the Rick and Suds Show, live via satellite from our sister station in Miami. You can call in to Rick toll-free at 1-800-944-9463. That number again is 1-800-944-9463. You're listening to Rick and Suds on News Talk Radio 620 WSUN.
Listening to continuous post-storm coverage of Hurricane Andrew from News Talk Radio 610 WIOD.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team. We take the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen.
No more Jim Jensen.
We're in the air, we're on the ground, we're always in control. And when you say Miami, you're talking Super Bowl.
Say goodbye to Freddie Banks.
'Cause we're the Miami Dolphins. Miami.
Deerfield, hello.
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 This is Bob from Deerfield Beach.
Hi, Bob.
You just woke me up. I was sleeping.
Oh,
Well, sorry.
Bob.
That's all right. I've been waiting on the phone over an hour, but anyway. One of the things I'd like to say is that I no longer consider you just a regular talk show, but I consider you a public service talk show. And my hats are off to you. One of the things I like to say, I'm a Red Cross volunteer, and I just got back from Homestead Middle School yesterday. I was down there 6 days and 5 nights, and my average day was 20 hours a day down there working, and I had to come back to try to make some money to pay my own bills right now. But as soon as I make enough money this week, I'm going back this weekend and do what I have to down there again. I probably have 100 different stories. I mean, human interest stories that I couldn't begin to go over all of them, but I have a few things that I would like to just say on the air. One of the more important things I'd like to get to right away is that we do need a couple wheelchairs down at the Homestead Middle School. And if anybody knows of any place where we can get these wheelchairs and have them delivered down there, or I could take them down when I go down this weekend, that's one of the more important...
Now, why don't you call the info link?
What is that?
759...
Wait, let me just write that down.
Okay. 759-4311, because people can call who have wheelchairs, and they'll connect them with you.
Okay, thank you. Another thing, one thing that I would really say is that it's very important.
And I'm sorry, let me interrupt you once again.
Sure.
You're in Broward, so it's 584-7117. Pinch those pennies where you can.
Wait a minute, what do you mean on telephone?
We have a Broward line, yeah, that's toll-free to you.
Oh, that doesn't matter. Just consider it a donation.
Okay.
One thing I'd like to say is, on the drop-off points for food, I was down there all week, and the traffic jams are unbelievable.
Right.
And there are so many sightseers down there just taking videos and things like that. Now I understand that you can't even get down there, but if people do have things to donate, just drop them off at drop-off points, and that stuff will get down there by convoy and things like that.
We've been urging that all weekend.
Yeah, that's one thing. Another thing is that there's been a lot of criticism on that it wasn't handled properly and things like that. One of the things I like to say is we unloaded trucks down there and loaded trucks and filled up that whole school with food and clothing, and we were turning trucks away. And there was a lot of criticism on the turning of trucks away. And one of the problems of turning the trucks away was that it was just too much stuff too fast.
Right.
And we didn't have the personnel, and we didn't have the places to put this stuff. I would just wanted to say that. Another thing that we did down there, we set up a nursery for the children. We wanted to take part of the burden off the home. We have a homeless area in there where people are staying in the shelter. And we have elderly people. We have a room for about 20 or 25 elderly people. The oldest one was 90 years old in there, and we have to take them to the bathrooms. We have to take them in the wheelchair. This is one of the reasons why we need the wheelchairs.
Right. Well, listen, let me cut you short because we have a full board of calls waiting also, but if you can run this list down when you call the info link line, then people can call in and say, how can we help? And they say, we have this need and this need.
Very good.
And we can hook you up with them.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thanks, Bob. Sounded tired, didn't
You hear a lot of weariness in people's voices.
Man.
You said that you went home and slept on Sunday till 20 to 1.
Well, you know, this whole area, everybody, the sleep has been disrupted, and a lot of the people, even the sleep they do get is a bit fitful, I would imagine. I think one of the things we could use down here is just a giant nap.
Well, one of the things I found very helpful last night was turning on the Emmy Awards.
Well, that put you to sleep real quick, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh,
you thought Hurricane Andrew blew. It's 3:15 at News Talk Radio 610 WIOD and 620 WSUN.
Check back with us weeknights from midnight till 4, our sister station in Miami, The Rick and Suds Show, on News Talk Radio 620 WSUN.
We have a line open in Broward, 524 WIOD. Also Dade, 7519463. Or it could double as an outside the 305 area code line, 1-800-944 WIOD. Miami, hello.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Okay.
Buttload.
Back at you.
Well, I'm a long-time listener and a first-time caller.
Good.
And I want to say that you guys are doing a great job.
We're trying.
And I want to give some praises here to Kate Hale and the city manager of Homestead. At least those guys have the balls to stand up to these politicians and tell them the truth.
You bet.
I mean, I love it. And you had mentioned something earlier about people trying to contact others. If you looked in the Herald today, they had a couple of pages of contacts and names and people looking for other people.
They've had that since last week, and it's an excellent
first time
service.
I've seen a paper. I've been real busy helping out. And in fact, we went down there Thursday and unloaded a couple of truckloads, and all the cops and big shots are all standing around with their thumbs up their butts, not doing anything. But it's really unorganized, but...
it's getting more organized.
Yeah, I would like to plug the JCs. You know, the JCs brought 10 truckloads, 10 semis of food down here.
Right.
And we all got together, helped them unload it, take it down there, and it was such a good feeling, you know?
Right.
But I'm just so upset. You know, the county has done nothing to help these people, and it's just so disgusting that...
you know, it's interesting because everybody's been pointing the finger and,
I know.
Where's...
They sat back and expected everybody else to come help.
Well, but the deal is, you know, I think it turned out backwards. I think, during times like these, because we're all prepared basically to help ourselves.
That's true.
You know, everybody gets their own supplies, as you saw, the lines and all the stores and all of that, and we're all going to weather the hurricane and find out, who makes it, who doesn't make it. But that's when I think the national agencies need to step in, the National Guard, the Army, the counties, and all of that, with the contingency plans to get in there, get order, and help us, once we get back on our feet, to try and get some supplies in. Because, we have to, those who can help to help those who can't. But what we did is we said, where are you people? Why aren't you getting here? And we had to go in there and start bringing stuff in there to our chaos because nobody has, we don't have contingency plans, and wait for the government to step in.
Yeah,
it was just totally backwards.
Exactly. I was down there Thursday handing food out in a parking lot of a Publix, and there was people that had walked 10 miles just to get a bottle of water to drink. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
The roads were clear. They could have had buses or something.
Well, when I went down there, I made the statement, if there is an emergency on a national basis where more than 1 or 2 cities is just disabled, you can forget about the government.
Oh, yeah, right.
It was just astounding at the lack of participation on their part.
But, I'll tell you what, a lot of the reasons that this thing has come together is because of the amateur radio community. And a lot of people forget that whenever there's a hurricane or, natural disaster, the hams get together and they pull through and they supply communications and coordination with everybody. And I think that, they haven't been plugged yet, and we need to give them a round of applause.
We talked to a bunch of guys Saturday from Tampa who were on their way down.
Right. Yeah, there's guys from all over the country down here bringing radio equipment, and it's great. And, I just want to say that...
well, you guys, first of all, you guys with ham radios are all nuts.
Yeah, that's true.
And you're all very much...
Especially WS9A.
And you're all very much appreciated.
Well, we do it. I've got a bunch of equipment on the air, and it's all out of my own pocket, and I love this kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't care how much it costs me or whatever. It's for the good of the community.
Yeah, that's what a lot of these enthusiasts live for.
Yeah, we have a good time doing it. It's what we enjoy doing.
Well, thanks for calling.
Hey, I want to call Railroad a dish rag, and, the greatest sign I've seen throughout all this hurricane stuff was looters welcome, we need the target practice.
All right, pal. Thanks a lot.
Hey, guys, see ya.
All right, 322. I think we're doing our effort here. I just saw Adam walk down the hall with a bunch of WIOD fan bags.
Oh, boy.
Hey, more Beano. No, I didn't. There's a lot of canned goods that are going into the area. A lot of pork and beans. I didn't see anybody here lifting any Beano in there, and I'm sure that could be appreciated. Actually, they're getting, again, please let me temper my humor, because we do need to just have a couple of chuckles. I think they're going to be doing sports talk tonight at Brews once again.
Yeah,
so that's nice. Yeah, we've been going until 7. Hank's been stepping in at 7 o'clock, and Joe Zagacki isn't going to be stepping anywhere for a while. Apparently, he's doing okay.
Yeah.
But got a little bit more hurt, or a lot more hurt than was... I don't see how anybody, and this is, again, you talk about tragedy, 2 people killed. I don't see how Joe, even in being in the back of that plane, could have gotten out alive.
I know.
So, anything that he sustained, is expected, to say the least, and we understand that he's undergone surgery and he's going to be okay. So Joe Zagacki fans, and I know there's been a lot of people calling the hospital and such. It's 323, a lady in Pembroke Pines. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Okay.
Okay. Just a little sunshine. I left Wednesday and was driving up to St. Pete. I called last night anyway, and there were clouds, but there was sunshine breaking through.
Mm.
When I saw those FPL trucks, and these guys really, really, really deserve a hand. If you could have seen them coming in a convoy down the road, it gave me chills.
There's been some pretty incredible convoys, a variety of people.
Exactly.
And and I saw an Army convoy the other night. There was hundreds of units.
I saw planes yesterday.
Yeah.
But the fact remains, the day I left on the 26th to go to St. Pete, and a woman called in, and they gave her number over your station, and I called her today when I got back, and she told me that as of yet, they have had no results. And
now, what was that from?
We're talking about babies. We're talking about,
Well, what was the woman specifically?
Okay. Her name's Pam. They live, let me see, it's a trailer park. And it's on the Miami River outlet. And she says, if you don't know how to get there, you're going to miss it. So if I could just tell your listeners...
Well, we're still missing what she needs. What was the information?
Okay. They need batteries, size C. They need candles for insects. They need charcoal. They need lighter fluid. They need matches. They need ice. They need baby food. They need bread.
All right. Well, since you're making the call here, why don't you call the info link and leave that information with them, because somebody will call. We've had success. We've had just overwhelming success with almost everything that we have put out on the air. This info link has just turned out to be a real blessing.
All right, now I have a number, 584-7117.
7117, right.
Okay.
Okay?
And, wait. I'd like to ask you another question,
Quickly.
if you know this or not. Do people out of work seeking jobs right now have to report the income to the IRS if they're not eligible to collect? Or would you know that?
If you're not eligible to collect what?
Unemployment.
Well, if you want to get specific, anybody who's out of work is eligible to collect unemployment unless, they haven't contributed by having a job.
That's what I'm saying. Okay.
And any time that, the IRS will tell you any time you bring in a penny, a chunk of that is theirs.
All right, now I'm looking to donate a chunk. And that's another question I'd like to ask you. Do I go out and personally buy the food and diapers and dog food?
It all depends on what you want to accomplish.
Pardon me?
It all depends on what you want to accomplish. A lot of people have done that. A lot of people have just made out checks to the Red Cross specifying Hurricane Relief Fund.
Either that or do I get the food? What's your...
It's up to you.
Okay.
There are going to be long-term supplies needed. These food supplies are going to run out within a month.
Okay, and as far as homeless people go, I've got a 2-bedroom place.
Yeah.
I don't have beds in the other room, but they could sleep on the floor.
Okay.
That info link also?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
See, all of these people with batteries in their radios are hearing you and hearing what you have to offer, and they will call immediately. So you call immediately and give them your number.
Right.
Okay,
you guys are great.
All right,
Okay, thank you.
It's 327, News Talk Radio 610, WIOD. Is that it? I don't know. We'll worry about that later. But regardless, we have no week. The season opener at home will not be this week. Interesting list of Dolphin cuts. Once again, we'll run that down for you. We have a lot of people on the phone. We'll tend to you as fast as we can in Bradenton. Hello.
Hi. Listen, I wanted you to know we really appreciate your program over here. I happened to keep in touch with you since I had to go down and pick up my in-laws in Brine. And you all are doing a super job. I wanted to compliment the people down there, particularly the young folks who did things like direct traffic and were really taking their life in their hands, but did a super job. We were in late Tuesday and did some re-roofing and protected some folks' property.
Wow.
The other thing is there are a lot of law enforcement people down there who are doing a good job. I heard your last caller kind of complain about them, and I know some of the law enforcement agencies from as far away as South Carolina have sent troops in, and all here along the Gulf Coast, folks are planning to send folks in to do some relief work. So people.
When I went down the one day that I did the reporting from down there, I asked a few officers where I could get on the turnpike. I said, "Hey, I'm from Jacksonville. I don't even know how I got here." So,
the other thing is that we've got a command post down there from the Manatee Sheriff's Office. A lot of people doing a lot of things. And
just a ton. I mean, it's unbelievable. And then we had a ship come in today, I understand, with tons of supplies.
Been monitoring you guys. You're doing a super job.
And I'm watching them on TV right now. They're setting up tent areas, and it's all coming together. We had to do some screaming and shouting, and a lot of people went down there and created a lot of confusion.
Listen, I got to give Kate, I don't remember her last name, but I know her comments on CNN. You guys and CNN are the leaders down there, and Kate in her comments, and I think your listeners need to be aware that they ought to feel free to call their congressman and United States Senator, but have your thoughts lined up on what you want to talk to them about. I know I called when I got back from down there, and they were really sympathetic and listening, and I think that they did get a hold of the White House. And incidentally, we've got 30 probation officers that we know of that are homeless down there, and over 265, I think, law enforcement officers, and all those people from the state prison down there, the employees are homeless. So there are a lot of people, a lot of public service people who are out there hurting like the rest of the folks, and we've got them in our thoughts and in our prayers. And to you guys, thank you here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. 336, that leaves a line open in data 751-9463. Coconut Creek, hello.
2 words.
Yes, sir.
Infolink.
Is this Mike Disney?
Back at you.
No, I'm serious. I wanted to call and just say that of all the information that's being poured out through the newspapers and television, your station and all the other stations, but the one thing that I think that I should stress the most in case people just maybe aren't getting the message, is the info link.
Yeah.
I put my name into it Saturday afternoon, and I had my first call Saturday night. And I'm not going to say the phone's been ringing off the hook, but I've got a steady stream of people saying, we got your name out of the info link, and can you help, and so on and so forth. And of course it's yes, and it's one of the best services I've seen through this whole disaster.
I agree.
You guys should be commended for that one.
Well, we didn't think it up, but a lot of people have been volunteering their time. I know Suds and I are going to be on after we get off the air tomorrow from 6 until 8, and everybody has just been pitching in. Where sometimes you always remember the ones that you can't hook up. What did I do with that piece of paper? Because they're voluminous amounts of information. But 95% of the things I think we have been able to coordinate. And as far as WIOD, I am here to share with all of the media. We're not in any competition, and
I know that.
No, some of the media is. But one of the things I think we've been able to do that other people haven't has been a real two-way media outlet. We have calls from people in the affected area rather than people just telling you that they are in the affected area, and we can actually talk to them. So that's been a great help also.
It's really been a great service, and I hear all the calls, on a daily basis, like the one woman you had call in and everything else, and you stressed to her to call the info link, the gentleman with the wheelchair thing and everything else. You stressed to him, call it. I guarantee you, if anybody calls this thing, if you've got a service to provide, somebody will get back with you. If you need something, somebody will get back with you, and I cannot stress to the people of South Florida anymore, you've got to call it. It's a great thing. It works.
You're right.
It seriously works.
All right.
One other thing, I don't know, I doubt Neil's still listening. He got a call this morning from somebody, but he wasn't on the air. A gentleman in the Coconut Creek area who lived in Homestead needed a ride. His car was broke down, needed a ride down to Homestead Hospital. I just want to let whoever might know, he got down there.
Good deal.
All righty. Jeff,
all right.
Take care.
You're great. Okay. Thanks a lot. 3:38. Let's go to here. This announcement, first of all, just passed along to me. Easter Seal Society School for Children with Disabilities, an adult daycare center, is going to be reopening on Wednesday, September 2nd, the day after tomorrow. Easter Seal Society School for Children with Disabilities and Adult Daycare Center is going to be opening on Wednesday, reopening. Children in need of transportation or parents of children in need of transportation should call 325-0470. This came to us from our info link. Ask for Dr. Bornstein. That's Dr. Bornstein. Adults in need of transportation should also call 325-0470 and ask for Angela Arsena. Now, a lot of names are connected with these. I think if you just call with the help that you need, that you'll be funneled to the right people. But the important thing to do is remember the phone number at 325-0470. That's 325-0470. It's 339 or 339, as we like to say here in America. Let's go to Sweetwater. Hello.
Hey, Rick.
Hi.
Electrifying buttloads.
Back at you.
I got hit by lightning yesterday.
Oh.
Where were you?
Driving through a mud puddle. I'd packed up my truck with some ice, and I was getting ready to take it down to Perrine.
Yeah.
And as I was going through a pretty deep mud puddle, lightning hit the tree next to me, came out of it, and entered my body through my left wrist.
Now, were you in the truck?
I was in the truck.
Wow.
And?
Well, it was quite a harrowing experience.
Well, I would imagine, since you're up and talking, what did you feel?
Well, I was paralyzed for about 3 or 4 seconds. I couldn't move anything.
Yeah.
The truck was still rolling towards a wall. I was able just to turn it.
Yeah.
Until I could put it in park and, try and gather, what, if anything was wrong with me. My heart was beating about 200 times a minute.
Hey, at least it was beating.
And then, it stopped 4 times.
How do you know?
I felt it.
Wow.
That was the scariest thing I've ever been through. I went to the doctor this morning, and I've lost some of the motor use, or, in my hands and feet.
Yeah. Now, is that permanent?
They don't know yet.
Yeah.
We'll know in 10 days to 2 weeks.
Yeah, a lot of times it's not.
Right. And I've also suffered damage to because the thunder was so close.
Oh, boy. What?
Damaged my inner ear.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thunder usually is right there with the lightning.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
Wow. Well, I bet.
I told Marvin the only good thing that came out of it is I got a bottle of Demerol.
There you go.
Oh.
So you might also be able to rent yourself out as a generator.
Oh, man. It was so scary. I didn't think I was very seriously hurt at first.
Yeah.
When I got to my girlfriend's house and I got inside, I guess I was in shock.
Yeah.
And my body just wasn't telling me that I was hurt. But last night I couldn't eat. It was hard to get food into my mouth.
Oh, I bet.
And I couldn't get a hold of the doctor until this morning. I didn't think I was serious enough to tie up an emergency room.
Yeah.
Well,
no, that's better off left for when you're dead.
All right, just wanted to let you know.
Well, you take care.
Okay.
All right. 341, interesting call. Tampa, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Yeah, calling from up in Tampa. We had an idea at lunch, a group of coworkers and myself, that we were talking about what help we've already given and what we're looking to do in the future. And the idea kind of came up that we ought to adopt a family. And we were thinking that once the media coverage died down, there's going to be fewer and fewer people giving down there. And it'd be a good idea to try and match up some different offices or groups or individuals with specific families that have a need.
Right.
And we were...
Well, that's already attempting to be done, and you can certainly add your name to the list.
Oh, great. Well, that's what I needed to know.
7, let me see. We'll get you a little bit closer. We'll give you our Broward line for the info link. It's 584-7117, area code 305.
584-7117?
Right, area code 305.
Okay.
And they can tell you who's doing this, how to get a hold of them, and, with what you have to offer, and hook you up with a family for sure.
That sounds great.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It's 342 on News Talk Radio 610 WIOD.
WIOD.
346 from our InfoLink hotline. Security Bureau Incorporated needs former employees who used to work at Turkey Point. Ask for Ron, Perry, Joanne, or Jay Crocker at the Turkey Point Nuclear Plant, 246-6626. That's 246-6626. Or 246-6567. Security Bureau Incorporated needs former employees who used to work at Turkey Point. Ask for Ron Perry, Joanne, or Jay Crocker. That's Turkey Point Nuclear Power Plant, 246-6626 or 246-6567. It's 346. We have one line open. It's the Star line. If you're a Bell Self Mobility customer, it's Star IOD. We go to North Miami Beach. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
How you doing?
Okay.
I got an analogous story for the gouging. There's a guy, his area of operations is usually Biscayne Boulevard, Miami Gardens Drive. Usually stands there for 6 months with a sign, homeless will work for food. Yesterday I drive by, same guy, new sign, trailer demolished, anything helps.
Well, you got to keep, current, sir.
I thought about it. It hit me, and then I said, wait a second.
Yeah.
What I had to do, put him in touch with WIOD. He'd go to work for their advertising advertising department with his
it's too late, sir. I'm sure he already works here.
Catch you later.
Thanks for the call. 348 Coral Springs. Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
It was just something that was bothering me. I live in Coral Springs, and God bless, I didn't have any trouble out here. And it's been a week since this whole thing happened, and I feel that there was a real opportunity to get, everybody's saying that there's all these supplies coming and everything's unorganized and they can't get it to all the people. And there was a real opportunity to set up, they had 12,000 tents, and they were going to set up these huge tent communities, and people, they were saying, would not leave their homes or what was left of them to go set up these communities and tents. I mean, you have to look at something in the long range. There's people that are exposing their kids and themselves to conditions that are just unbearable and could stay that way for a long period of time. And I strongly feel that if, to hang on to what few possessions you have is not a fair trade-off to expose your family and yourself to conditions that are just unbelievably unhealthy.
Well, as time goes on, I'm sure those people realize that.
Well, there was a real opportunity right now. The government brought in these 12,000 tents, and instead of setting up tent areas, they said they were going to bring them to individual homes and whatnot. But that doesn't alleviate the problem of getting supplies and getting people out of these unsanitary conditions.
But they are setting up tent areas.
In groups of 1,200 or something along that lines. But you're looking at something, I was watching the news the other day, and the gentleman said that it might be 6 to 8 months before even construction and rebuilding really begins to take place. So,
Sure.
I mean, you're looking at something at 6 to 8 months. You cannot live in an empty shell of a house. You get supplies, and then it rains, and your supplies are ruined. You really, I just can't believe that people are going to, it's not a fair trade-off to me to expose yourself and your family to unsanitary and disease-filled conditions. And I feel bad. I had a fire, and I lost everything I owned at one time, and I know what it does. I mean, I wasn't involved in this particular incident, but I had a very major catastrophe, and I was distraught. But you have to get on with your life, and you just can't. To me, it's not a fair trade to guard what little possessions you have.
So
that color TV doesn't do you any good right now.
So your call is to tell them to get to the tents?
Get to the communities and set up these communities so that you can get your kids back in school, that you can have hot showers, and you can have things brought to you where you don't have to fight to get the supplies. To get these supplies to you. They'll know where everybody is, and there has to be some way that somebody can label people's belongings and put them in some sort of a storage area or something and clear those areas out in order to make progress on getting this.
Well, you see, a lot of...
I'm not, and I'm not trying to be the bad guy or anything, but I just feel strongly that they need to set up these communities of tent villages, because that,
right, you
to
said
me,
that.
in the next 6 to 8 months, you cannot live where you're living now.
Okay. You're reiterating old information. A lot of this is being addressed, and being in Coral Springs and not being down there, you really don't know all the circumstances.
No, I don't. I just pick up bits and pieces from what I hear from you guys on the way home from work, and I hear how devastated everything is and that how unorganized all of these particular things are.
You have to understand that everybody has their own special circumstances. Each person, you can't address these things in mass. And they are setting up tent cities. Some of these places are local or within easy access to drop-off points, and it would not be wrong to set up a tent on their own property because they are close to command centers, they're close to Red Cross shelters, whatever, and they can commute. Believe me, you don't want to live with 1,200 people if you can help it.
Absolutely not.
If you can be in a tent on your own property and be
something that be
stocked, then you can do that.
If your house is suitable to, not expose you and your children to...
please keep in mind that while we sit in Broward County and Palm Beach and all the places that really weren't affected, that we can't go dictating how these people should live. They're going to find out. If they can't survive on their property, they're going to realize that certain things aren't worth protecting. But everybody has to call their own circumstances.
Yeah,
and until you've been down there, you can't see how varied those circumstances are.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
It's being addressed. It really is. And there's professionals in there.
I just feel bad for the kids.
There's professionals in there who are telling them exactly what you are. If there are stubborn people, they are counseling them right now, saying, listen, you can't exist here. So they're passing along your message in a very personal way.
I just wanted to make sure, because I didn't want people to trade off their old color TV for unhealthy conditions. It just didn't make sense.
I can understand. Emotions are very high right now.
Yeah, I understand.
Thanks for the call.
Okay, thank you.
I don't think a lot of people, understand the enormity of the destruction there, and how long it's going to take to just get everything up to running to a normal situation, even in a tent city.
And also, I stress once again, being down there, I had no idea the poverty that existed before this went on. There are people who have never had a helping hand in their entire life. And the only difference that they're going to notice right now is they may have a telephone pole in the middle of their living room, the couch that blew in some way, that maybe they had salvaged in a dump, maybe blew out of the house and is now watered down, and they're going to get it back and dry it out again. Maybe part of their house is gone. But a lot of these people are, there may be an upside to this. They're getting supplies and wondering, why are you thinking about us now? You never thought about us before. And for them to say, well, you should get out and this and that now, being directed by somebody from Broward County or whatever, nobody told them that they should get out before when the conditions were deplorable. And each of these circumstances exists on its own merit. And to dictate to anybody en masse of what they should do is impossible. And if you were to see the destruction and how it affected from very nice homes, multi-$100,000 homes in Kendall and the Grove and all of that, down to homes that you couldn't give away, that you couldn't ask, like that gentleman who just called, to live in for a week. And these people, that's where their lives are. So, to say, well, I'm not coming out, they're not going to notice any difference in a tent or their home. They haven't been cared for before. The poverty level is just, it's deplorable. You just don't see this from newsreels, from callers, from anything like that, but it exists. And it's a real eye-opener, and it's very sad once you see it. And it's a thing for us all to keep in mind. It's 3:54 on News Talk Radio. We're going to go ahead and take our first check on traffic. All right, with that, you're on 610 WIOD.